life.
So, what are the chances of Donald Trump winning the election this time around? It is getting tighter and tighter by the minute as we get closer to November 5th. Welcome to Verbal on Life. My name is Noel, battling MS. In this episode, we're going to take a look at Jesse Water Primetime. My dogs are going crazy. I don't even know why. I think because I started talking, my dogs go nuts. I swear to God, I'm starting to hate those dogs. I think I'm going to have to record with the door closed. Because when they hear me, now I get it. I was wondering why they barking. All right, so let's take a look at Jesse Water Primetime. Oh, by the way, if you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed the clip, make sure to give us a thumbs up before you go anywhere. It really helps out. Here we go.
Welcome to Jesse Waters Primetime tonight.
This race is tight, tight, tight. If the polls are off like they were in 2020, Donald Trump would actually win the election.
Early voting has officially begun, and Kamala's crashing.
Vote for Grandpa.
Driver, take 2 steps to your right.
6 cell phones, 2 license plates, a letter, and a bullet in the chamber. Inside Ryan Ruth's plot to assassinate Trump.
This is about good versus evil.
Who am I introducing next? Who's next?
The president isn't running the country. So who is?
You know, sometimes the White House surprises you.
Plus,
if there are British men watching this segment,
Fox News alert, Donald Trump holding a big rally in the swing state of Pennsylvania tonight. And he's just announced that in 2 weeks, he'll be going back to Butler, where he was almost killed. Voters across the country have just started casting their ballots. Early voting officially kicked off Friday in some states, and the lines were crazy. In Virginia, not a swing state, you could hear the Trump chants. Listen.
This is one of 3 early voting locations in Fairfax County alone. They're going to open another 13 of these locations in the beginning of October.
The Republican Party, not known for early voting, can't wait to get to the polls. As we head into the final stretch, the former president's in a good mood. Over the weekend, Trump held a rally in North Carolina and brought his secret weapons.
Make America great again. Vote for Grandpa.
Oh, he doesn't want to get off the stage. Oh, wow. Look at that. He's got the gene. Thank you. Thank you, Luke. You know, I said, say MAGA. I whispered into his ear, so cute. I said, say MAGA. He said, vote for Grandpa. He didn't care what I said.
And you know what's crazy? That the mainstream media talk about this being the next Hitler. And this is such like a nice guy that it's hard to really see Hitler in him. So what the hell are they talking about?
And that was actually much better, right?
And today he spent the day buying groceries for moms.
It's going to go down a little bit. It just went down $100.
thank you so much.
We'll do that for you from the White House, all right?
Thank you.
All right, bye. Nice seeing you, everybody.
This has a 2016 feel. Then he was speaking to the silent majority. And today he's speaking to the scared majority. Writer Douglas McKinnon says this: fear is real. Fear does motivate. Working class Americans do fear that elite enabling liberal policies beyond their control are robbing them of their quality of life now and well into their future. But many of these Americans have also realized that there is one way to combat that fear and regain some of that control: by voting. Working class jobs are being gutted because politicians like Biden and Harris let our manufacturing base leave the country for cheap labor in exchange for political donations. The agricultural machine conglomerate, John Deere, an iconic American brand, has laid off hundreds of workers in the Midwest and are moving their factories to Mexico. And Biden and Harris never even tried to convince them to stay.
I just noticed behind me John Deere tractors. I know a lot about John Deere. I love the company. But as you know, they've announced a few days ago that they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States, so that if I win, John Deere is going to be paying a 200%.
This is vintage Trump. Cajole American companies with the threat of tariffs to remain in America, hire American, and make sure their products are made in the USA. This is why he won in 2016, and if this continues, why he win again. Putting the American people first. And American-made machines need to be run with American-made energy. Kamala Harris has always been against American energy.
I am committed to passing a Green New Deal, creating clean jobs, and finally putting an end to fracking once and for all.
Mama Kamala just don't give a frack.
Kamala doesn't give a frack about you. She's lying about her record because she wants to be president. For her, this election isn't about you at all. It's about her.
If you don't put Trump in, you're not going to have any energy jobs in here. They're not going to let you frack. They're not going to let you frack. You know that. She's never said frack in her life until just a short while ago when she realized her poll numbers were dying in Pennsylvania.
Members of the Teamsters, the police, and the Border Patrol are endorsing Donald Trump. Kamala's got the endorsement of the IRS union. And today, the spooks who signed the Hunter Biden laptop letter endorsed her. Oh, and the teachers union who abandoned our children during COVID, they're backing Harris. Also, the drug cartels have gotten behind Kamala Harris big time. Putin endorsed Kamala, the Chinese lover, and the Iranians hacked the Trump campaign and gave their emails to the Harris campaign. Remember the quote, "Tell me who your friends are, and I will tell you who you are." If you were watching football on Sunday, you saw a Trump ad telling you exactly who Kamala Harris is, in her own words.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
That's crazy. Surgery for prisoners. Speaking the truth.
For prisoners, every transgender inmate would have access.
Kamala's for they, them. President Trump is for you.
Trump's making his campaign about you, while Kamala's been hiding from you. After inheriting her old man's money and stealing his delegates, she hasn't done a single real interview because the people who control her won't let her. If she wanted to show America she has what it takes, she could hold a press conference tonight and say, "Hey, ask me whatever you want. I'll be here until the sun comes up. What do you got?"
Yeah.
Kamala's handlers just announced she's skipping the Al Smith dinner, a tradition that goes back 40 years, where President...
It's crazy how many things she gets to skip, how many things she gets to not have to do. And I can't believe people are still voting for her. Like, how can you vote somebody just based on party, not knowing who the candidate is? Yo, that's identity politics right there. So shout out to the Democrats. They were able to cyber hack or mentally hack all these people to think that it doesn't matter who it is, just go Democrat. You know, it just goes to show they've done a great job.
Presidential candidates take turns roasting each other and just to raise funds for Catholic charities. Hillary never chickened out.
We have proven that we can actually be civil to each other. In fact, just before taking the dais, Hillary accidentally bumped into me, and she very civilly said, "Pardon me." And I very politely replied, "Let me talk to you about that after I get into office."
It's sad, but not surprising that Kamala has decided not to attend. I don't know what she has against our Catholic friends, but it must be a lot because she certainly hasn't been very nice to them.
More and more votes for Trump. Come on now. He's going to be funny. I got to find out the date when this is going to happen.
Harris keeps saying she wants voters to see who she is. She's always rambling on about growing up middle class. The campaign says they want Americans to get to know her. She says she wants to unite the country, but she won't show up and have a little laugh. She loves to laugh. She doesn't want to make fun of Trump. It's all she's good at. She doesn't want to have a glass of wine and raise money for charity. It's not like anyone's going to ask her questions like, why'd everything get so expensive when you and Joe came into power? Or why'd you let 20 million migrants into the country? There were no wars under Trump, and now there's one in Europe and the Mideast. How'd that happen? Nobody at the Al Smith dinner is going to ask her why she said she wanted to legalize prostitution and decriminalize crack. It's not like I'm going to send Johnny to the Al Smith dinner to ask Kamala Harris why she fell for the Jussie Smollett hoax when everybody with common sense knew it was a setup. Here's Kamala Harris marching with Jussie Smollett to end deportations.
How is it that the mainstream media is now playing this video 24/7 loop? Like, it just goes to show that they're all in favor of the Democratic Party, in my opinion. Comment down below, what do you think? Because this is just damaging. The internet is forever. Is that Jussie Smollett on the background with the circle? The liar?
Kamala's flying migrants into the country. She doesn't want to deport any of them. She just wants to give them free sex changes. Now, if I was interviewing Kamala Harris, I'd ask her, don't you think free breast implants for migrants is going to make inflation a lot worse? The good news is people are starting to get to know Kamala Harris. You can't trust somebody who lies about their past or someone who ducks everything they're invited to. A fresh New York Times poll has Trump surging into the lead in North Carolina, Georgia, and in Arizona. He's up between 3 to 5 points there. And the media is bracing for the worst.
Let's say the polls are off like they were back in 2020. Look where he goes. He goes to 312.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because the polls underestimated Donald Trump in 2020. So the bottom line is, instead of losing those Great Lake battleground states, he wins all of them. He obviously holds on to North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona, and he gains Nevada. So if the polls are as good as they were in 2020, despite the fact that at this particular hour, Donald Trump trails in enough states to give Kamala Harris the victory, the poll.
So I got to check to see if all those states have early ballot voting. So that means people could vote now, and they're receiving the ballots and mailing it in. And that's where it gets tricky. The government could do whatever they need to do to get all those ballots in the mail.
Polls are off like they were in 2020. Donald Trump would actually win the election.
CNN just said Trump's going to win every single battleground state if the polls are as wrong as they usually are.
She is the worst polling Democrat against Donald Trump in history on national polls. No one is performing worse than her. No one's performing worse than her among blacks, among Hispanics, the worst performing Democrat in modern history among those demographics, worst performing polling wise among Jews. She is losing key factions of the Democratic base. Muslim voters, she's at under 50, she's at 52% in the latest CARE poll among black Muslims. She is not doing well.
Kamala knows she's losing, so she's begging for a second debate. Not on Fox, though. That's too tough. Trump's ahead. He's already debated twice. He doesn't need it. Everybody knows what he stands for. He's not going to give her 90 minutes to lie about her agenda and then lie about his and then steal his policies. After stealing no tax on tips, build a wall, Chinese tariffs, middle-class tax cuts, new home construction, Kamala is now into crypto. She's a crypto bro. A week after Trump became the first president to make a transaction in crypto, remember he went down to the crypto bar and bought crypto burgers for everybody? Kamala likes crypto now.
That's crazy that whatever Trump likes, she jumps on board and says, yeah, I like it too. I mean, come on. And people don't realize these things. Like, a lot of people are not aware that Trump was the first one. And they think that she's a genius, that she has so many ideas.
Kamala is saying, I was wrong about everything. Fracking, the border, crypto. And Trump was right. If you read between the lines, what Kamala's really saying is that she's already lost. Valuetainment founder Patrick Bet-David joins us now. All right, Patrick, what is your sense of this election as it stands today?
First of all, Jesse, it's great to be back on with you. Look, if you look at one poll, it's the most credible poll from the last one when you look at when Trump won in 2016, Atlas Intel. They were the best at predicting pre and best at predicting post, okay? Right now, they have Trump plus 3.6 nationally, 3.6 nationally. Forget about the battleground states. By the way, the best predicted, the ones that got it wrong the worst out of all the pollsters, CNN, WAPO, and LA Times all the way at the bottom. So if we trust Atlas Intel, Trump's going to be dominating. Now, here's a couple other things that we got to be thinking about. Nobody is surprised the fact that she's hiding. Nobody is surprised that she wants to do the debate. No one's surprised that she doesn't want to do it with you guys, Fox News, or maybe other places. It's got to be the CNN, the ABCs, all those things. But the basic thing is policies. It's very easy right now. 4 years, we have to show what Trump did. 4 years, we have to show what Kamala and Biden did with their administration. And now they want to come out and talk about a $4 trillion tax increase that they're going to be imposing, saying, yeah, if you're making less than $400K, you have nothing to worry about. They want to tax unrealized gains of billionaires because they have money with people over $100 million. Let's just say you do that with 25%. You know what the business owner is going to do? You know what the billionaire is going to do? They're going to say, hey, let go of 25% of employees. We got to fire a bunch of other people. Next thing you know, market tanks. And I think about the 62-year-old person, 64-year-old person who's got $750,000 in their 401k, thinking about retiring. What if that 750 goes like this to 375 because of market tanks due to bad policies with Kamala? That 64-year-old person that was about to retire in a year has to work till 75 years old. That's
PBD just said a lot, man. That guy could talk for a minute. Jesus.
That's what bad policies do. They have bad consequences, and her policies carries no weight with anybody today.
And the market is the only thing keeping Biden-Harris afloat right now. If that goes, which it would under her tutelage, everybody gets hammered, and it's just an absolute catastrophe. I love seeing Trump talk about John Deere. That's what got him elected in 2016, forcing American companies to do the right thing, do the patriotic thing, do right by the American worker. Come here, come to America, make things in America, and pay a fair wage. If he can focus on that message, that pro-worker message, the sky's the limit.
You know, this whole election thing is making Trump look like he's the one for the people. They're making him look like he's a billionaire that's not all about himself. It's all about helping the American people. That's crazy. And I can't believe this is working.
I agree. And I think whatever the advisors are saying lately, they're on point. Stay playing this game. The debate not taking place, he doesn't need to do it. He's done 2 already. If he chooses to do so, I think it's always good because he's the better debater. He's not somebody that, slacks when it comes down to debating. And the one thing we have to remember, go back to 2020 when Kamala debated Biden. And I'm talking primaries. She crushed it in the first debate. When she looked at Biden like this, and everybody's like, whoa, look at what Kamala did. She went up. After the second debate, she had a fall like the Atlanta Falcons against the New England Patriots, 28-3. It wasn't even funny. And then obviously they came back. So I think even if Trump considers doing it, let's just say he changes his mind because he's had a track record of all of a sudden saying, you know what, I'm going to do it. And we're going to do it on these terms. And maybe he's negotiating right now. If he does, I also don't think it's a bad idea.
No, and that would kind of be the trajectory we've always seen from Harris. She starts off strong and then she fades. So I could see it happening exactly as you predicted it. Patrick Bet-David, Value Entertainment, thank you so much. Great analysis. Good to have you back. Joe Biden's no longer running for president, but is he still running the country? Not sure. He spent most of the summer at the beach and hasn't held a full cabinet meeting in almost a year. Well, until Friday, when he let his wife run the cabinet meeting, which is weird because nobody voted for Dr. Jill, just like Kamala Harris. Imagine if Melania led a cabinet meeting while Trump was president. They'd make the military medevac Trump to Walter Reed for emergency testing. But Biden's still being Biden. Here he is, forgetting how to introduce the man behind him.
I want to thank you all for being here. And now, who am I introducing next? Who's next?
Wow, he is losing in front of everybody.
Distinguished guests, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
After 4 years of this, the press lost its patience.
But there's going to be plenty of opportunities. It's not like we're not allowing all of you to see many other things that are going to develop throughout the day. I mean, I just went through them. A quad family photo. He's going to take them to his high school. One
photo ops. That's what you've created. They're not a press conference, which we would prefer.
What baffles people in this room, especially for those who are watching this and wondering why on earth do we harp on these kinds of things, what baffles us is this is a president who from day one committed to be the most transparent president possible.
This is the same group of people who up until the bitter end swore that Joe Biden had another 4 years in him. Kamala did too. She was one of the chief architects of the Biden cover-up. And now that he's on the way out, the press is now covering for her. But if we see Dr. Jill in the Situation Room, there's going to be a big problem. Senator Ted Cruz joins me now. You know, it's funny to make fun of Senator, but how dangerous is this situation right now with Joe?
And let me also say this, who is running the country? At the end of the day, this goes to show that the Democrats just use the presidency as a figurehead. That's it. Somebody to put on television, but behind the scene, the deep state, the administrative state are the ones really running the country, really making the decisions and really pushing everything forward. And now it's more clear than ever. And you have a lot of Democrats in denial who refuse to see this for what it is.
Joe Biden and Dr. Jill running things.
Look, it is terrifying. You look at that press conference where he was introducing the Prime Minister of India, and he stood up there and he says, "Who's next? Who's next?" He doesn't know where he is. And watching that, the reaction that our allies have, the reaction that our enemies have, is who the hell's running America? That is frightening. And I don't think it's Jill Biden, but I got to say that is bizarre. I've never seen a first lady presiding over a cabinet meeting. And it's the president's not able to do it. And the answer is it's Kamala Harris, and it's the radical extreme who have been in favor of this open borders, this out of control spending, this extreme agenda for 4 years. And this agenda is hurting the American people. Everything Kamala Harris has supported for 4 years, she's running away from now, and she's trying to pretend she's Donald Trump because the Biden-Harris agenda has hurt the American people.
Are the same people that control Joe Biden going to be the same people that control Kamala Harris? Is it like one guy, or is it just a bunch of unelected bureaucrats who will never know their names?
Look, Jesse, I'll give you the most terrifying answer. I don't know. I genuinely don't know who is running things. I'm in the United States Senate. Republican senators sit around at lunch. None of us know. It's some combination of Barack Obama and Kamala Harris and the radicals in Congress. It is Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and AOC and
And I think they do know. They're just not telling the broad audience. They're not just talking about it publicly, but they know who's running the country. They know exactly who it is. They're in government. They talk about it. Let's be honest.
Bernie Sanders. But what we know is the extreme agenda, whether it is Kamala, unlike Joe Biden's a puppet. Kamala Harris is a true believer. She believes in this stuff. And look, in my race, I'm running for re-election in Texas. Colin Allred is a radical leftist, just like Kamala Harris. He's voted 100% with Nancy Pelosi his first 4 years in office. But I got to tell you, Jesse, Chuck Schumer and George Soros are flooding cash into the race. They're spending over $100 million. We just had a poll come out last week that had me losing the race by 1 point. So I want to urge your viewers, go to tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org. I need your help because $100 million on the left is trying to flip Texas. So I need you to go to tedcruz.org, give 25 or 50 or $100 so we can defend Texas and defend the whole country.
No, I don't think the great people of Texas are going to let that happen. Senator Ted Cruz, thanks as always. Good luck. The growing mystery of Trump assassin Ryan Ruth plus Johnny.
Why are you single?
Jesus. Fox News alert.
But real quick, before we get into the Trump assassination, at the end of the day, I think they do know who's running the country. And a lot of these politicians, they're getting paid on the low. Nobody knows how much they're getting paid, but it's a game that they're playing. The red team and the blue team, the Republicans and the Democrats, just running game on the people. Finally, someone who's not a politician, a businessman, Trump, is going to go in there, hopefully drain the swamp. And not just hope. In order for us to see if it happens, we gotta let him in. We gotta vote this man in to see if he could do it. Because Trump can't do it, drain the swamp. Man, it is what it is. We gotta accept America for what it is and just play ball with whatever the politician says we have to do. All right, let's listen to the assassination attempt by, what's this guy named? Something Roth?
Donald Trump was closer to death on September 15th than we thought. In a new federal court filing, we learned that Ruth had been staking out Trump at Mar-a-Lago and at his golf course for weeks. Even more chilling, investigators who sacked the sniper's nest found the rifle with the scratched off serial number had a bullet in the chamber. And when the feds caught Ruth, they found 2 sets of license plates and 6 cell phones in his car, one of which Googled an escape route from Palm Beach to Mexico. So why did Ruth have so many phones? And where did he get the fake plates? We're also learning about a strange box the feds claim that Ruth gave to a mysterious civilian witness months before he tried to take out Trump. The feds say this box contained 4 cell phones, ammo, tools, metal material, and some pipe, and a series of handwritten letters. The FBI released a photo of what they say is the first page of Ruth's letter. The FBI says this witness took a picture of the first page of the letter and sent it to the FBI 3 days after Ruth was assassinated. And the FBI is using this picture from a mysterious witness of a letter that we don't even know if they have custody of in a federal court filing. So in this purported letter, the FBI says Ruth was motivated to kill Trump because he believed the former president was unfit.
More conspiracy theories, because at the end of the day, look at everything that he's talking about. Who is funding all this? 6 cell phones, a box. The man had a gun, a car with fake plates. Who is funding this? Come on now, conspiracy theory left and right. Comment down below if you know what's going on, or you think you know, because right now it's all conspiracies.
And destructive to America's moral fabric. Does that sound familiar?
The American people must decide whether Donald Trump's assault on our democracy on January 6th makes him unfit for public office. I've been saying for now well over a year, he is not fit to serve. Donald Trump is not fit to be the job of president, be the commander in chief. And he literally is putting to the test this invisible moral fabric.
Ruth's letter purportedly says that he failed to assassinate Donald Trump, and that he was offering $150,000 to anyone who could finish the job.
How is he going to give anybody $150,000? Again, this man is broke. Plus, he's in jail for the rest of his life, probably. What the hell is he talking about making those offers? And sorry to those maniacs that may believe him.
So the Biden administration just released the Assassin's Manifesto that put a $150,000 bounty on Trump's head and called him unfit to serve.
And I could imagine Trump saying, only 150, that's it? Are you serious? My life is only $150,000. I'm more than that. That's probably what Trump is saying. That's funny.
The same language Biden's used. The FBI wouldn't release the Nashville trans school shooters manifesto because they said at the time they didn't want to inspire more violence. But they published this guy's manifesto? And why'd they only cherry pick the first page? What else is in these letters? Law enforcement tells us publishing Ruth's letter is basically giving the public a blueprint for the next assassination. And who the hell is this mysterious witness? Is he in custody? He sounds like a co-conspirator. And what kind of witness, you get a box from someone and you don't open it? Was he following instructions? And then he didn't give it to the feds until 3 days after the assassination attempt? And why is Ruth writing letters assuming he didn't finish the job? And does the FBI even have custody of this letter, or did they just take a screen grab from a mysterious witness and submit it to the court? Former presidential candidate and author of Truths, The Future of America First, Vivek Ramaswamy, joins me now. This box is nuts. What the hell is going on here, do you think?
I mean, assassination attempts are strange enough in American history, but this becomes downright strange. Last time around, and it's sad this is becoming a trend, Jesse, by the way, we still don't have the information about the Secret Service failures for the last assassination attempt. But even by comparison to that one, this is downright bizarre. Why somebody else would receive a box multiple weeks in advance, not open it? Whose instructions say not to open it? Why do the contents of the letter actually say that the person who is supposedly attempting to carry this out planned to not actually see it followed through? None of it makes sense, but it's just another reminder. It's one of the themes that comes out in my book as well. We deserve a government that is just transparent with the people again in this country, not the partial transparency of the kind that you're seeing attempts at right now from the FBI, but just total transparency to the public. It may be ugly. Tell us what it is. That's how we're going to move this country forward. More free speech and open debate. That's how we revive our nation.
And I have the book here. I cracked it open over the weekend. Truths, The Future of America First. I highly endorse it. Truth 1, God is real. Truth 2, climate change is a hoax. Tell us about these truths.
Sure. And the second one's a great one to talk about. I say the climate change agenda is a hoax. One of my goals with this book is to arm everyday Americans, people who may agree with folks like you and me, to actually talk to their friends on the left at the dinner table. And I do say friends intentionally, Jesse, because I think we still do have friends on the other side, to bring them along. That's what's going to be required, not just to win this election, but to get our country back. On climate change, a hard fact is that 8 times as many people die of cold temperatures rather than warm ones. So the traditional wisdom is, yes, our global surface temperature is going up by a little bit. They are. That's a fact. But it's also a fact that more people are dying of colder temperatures than warm ones. And in the 1970s, the thing that scientists actually worried about was an ice age rather than the heating of the planet.
You know, this is an idea that Vivek got to keep preaching. And more people got to talk about it, because college students who think they're the smart ones keep thinking that, yes, climate change is real. So we have a large part of the public thinking that climate change is real, and we have to invest billions of dollars in it to help protect the planet. And this idea that Vivek is just putting out there, it just got to be repeated over and over again, in my opinion. It's a lot of people that you got to convince. What do you think? Is climate change real? Comment below.
So my goal is to take these most contentious of subjects, the ones you're not supposed to challenge the orthodoxy on, climate ideology, transgender ideology, but to go in with stone cold hard facts that empower and arm everyday Americans with knowledge. That's what we need to be armed with. And the facts of winning the country back is through open debate with our friends on the other side.
So you're arming the American people with the facts.
Yeah.
And is this just for conservatives, or can other people read this? Will they accept that?
My hope is that most of the people who read this book aren't just the people who agree with us, but people on the other side, or people even who may be independent-minded, but curious for actually what alternative views are. One of the things I try to do in each of the chapters is we lay out the best possible arguments for the other side. I don't want to put up some straw man we can shoot down easily. What is the best possible argument for somebody who disagrees with the idea that there are 2 genders? What exactly would they say? Let's get that on the table and let's talk about it in the open.
Very good book. Truths, The Future of America First. Thank you so much, Vivek.
That's crazy. He needs to go on to Joe Rogan and talk about this, because Joe Rogan uses a lot of man bros and a lot of man talk, and talking about, he knows what the hell he's talking about when they say climate science and all that. So Vivek needs to go on there and talk about it and preach.
Good seeing you.
Leonardo DiCaprio is breaking his silence about Diddy. Right back. Police officer was killed by a drunk driving illegal alien. Senior national correspondent Kevin Cork has the story. Kevin.
Evening, Jesse. Charges have been filed against an illegal alien accused of drunk driving in an accident that caused a crash and killed a St. Louis police officer over the weekend. Of course, as you mentioned, it's Officer David Lee, God rest his soul. He was killed Sunday morning after responding to a one-vehicle crash on eastbound I-70 around 8:30 in the morning. Guy was just 44 years old. Now, according to St. Louis police, The driver has been identified as 24-year-old Ramon Chavez Rodriguez. Cops say he was driving at least 71 in a 55 zone when he crashed into the back of Officer Lee's patrol vehicle as he was trying to retrieve some traffic cones from his trunk as he was attempting to work a separate traffic accident. Meanwhile, a Border Patrol agent became the victim of a frightening assault near Sunland Park, New Mexico, as he attempted to apprehend a migrant for crossing the border alongside several others. Now, that migrant, Jesse, punched him and also took a bite out of the agent's face as he was being led to a transport vehicle. Now, according to Border Patrol authorities, the agent's injuries are not life-threatening, and the suspect was arrested. Although he remains unidentified, he was arrested for assault and illegal entry into this country. And here's the worst part, my friend. This is part of a devastating trend that's seen the number of assaults in the El Paso sector alone on Border Patrol agents go from 46 in all of 2021 to more than 70 this year alone. Bad news indeed, my friend.
Bad news. Thank you so much, Kevin.
You bet.
Fox has obtained new video of the moment the feds arrested Diddy in New York City on sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Diddy can be seen entering the lobby with a group of his friends until he's abruptly stopped by federal agents and separated from the rest of his crew. Just moments later, Diddy's hands are behind his back and he's escorted out of the Park Hyatt Hotel. Diddy's currently in the center of a massive investigation that has thrown the entire music and Hollywood industries into chaos. The New York Times today writing this: Sean Combs' arrest has the music world asking, is our Me Too here?
Yo, a lot of people now on top are coming out and everybody's snitching, because from what they say is that Diddy has a bunch of videotapes of all these executives doing crazy things, you know, at the Freako party. So let's see who's the last man standing. Or is Diddy the Jeffrey Epstein of the music industry or of Hollywood entertainment?
Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. Diddy's parties used to be the social events of the summer. Newly resurfaced photos from Diddy's parties back in the 90s and 2000s give us a glimpse into the wild and lavish lifestyle of Sean Combs. Here's a scene that looks interesting. Here's another one. We have some angels, it looks like.
Why are they not showing those?
I think that picture speaks for itself. Even Leonardo DiCaprio is pictured hanging out with Diddy at his parties back in '98, the White Party. But a source of Leonardo DiCaprio's told the Daily Mail that he had nothing to do with any of this. Quote, he attended a few of his parties back in the early 2000s, but literally everyone did. They were not freak-offs. Everybody who was anybody in show business attended Diddy's parties, but now that Diddy's behind bars, nobody's talking. Host of Good Day LA, Jennifer Lammers, is here. All right, Jennifer, what's everybody talking about?
You know, well, first of all, Jesse, thank you for having me on tonight. Anybody who has been to these freak-offs, these white parties, whatever you want to call them, participated in or protected Diddy should be real nervous right about now, because there is nothing for him to do but sit in a jail cell, eat his commissary cuisine, talk about how he's going to shorten his sentence if he's convicted. It's the mafia way, right? Who are we going to flip on? What names are we going to be telling to some of the prosecutors? How many people stood by while the abuse happened, ran logistics so these victims could be trafficked, paid people off? These people could all be prosecuted themselves to a smaller degree. In Hollywood, I will tell you, there is a massive sense of fear right now. There's a wall of silence, which is unusual even by Hollywood standards. In the words of a former colleague I used to work with who's been doing entertainment, interviewing celebrities for the last 20 years plus, he says nobody is speaking up and nobody is speaking out. And if you need proof, Jesse, have you seen anybody in the last, say, 6 months, say for maybe a couple of people, talk about these Diddy parties publicly, talk about how crazy they got? All you will see are old Conan O'Brien clips, Howard Stern interviews, celebrities joking about how wild things got. Anybody publicly connected to Diddy has not done any red carpet interviews, only photo calls, which, you may or may not know, are when a celebrity.
Whenever they talk about victims, what they really mean to say is all these women who are claiming victimhood. Because if you have a freako party with a bunch of men that were, what they say, male escorts, and women just getting it on for a month, that's insane. So the man that's it. Once you're a man going in there, you're getting paid to be there. You can't say nothing. You're weird. But the women are the ones that are always protected. So those are the ones putting all these cases and abusive cases. Now, I just wonder who at the top pulled the lever or said, that's it. It's time for Diddy to go down. Because he's been doing this for years. Finally, somebody at the top said, hey, enough is enough. We're done with Diddy. And unplugged him. Now, everybody's running. And look at poor Diddy.
Celebrity comes on the red carpet, gets their photo taken by a gallery of photographers, and is quickly ushered backstage to whatever event they happen to be at. I know of a couple of celebrities who've pulled out of press interviews at events they've been honored at because they don't want to talk about it.
Wow.
So Hollywood is the most silent that I've seen it in recent history, and that's by all accounts by most correspondents that I've talked to.
Are these celebrities telling the media, don't ask me about Diddy? Is there an understanding between the press and some of these actors? Or are they about to get asked and then they run away?
So let me tell you what happens when there is any kind of scandal surrounding any celebrity. Their publicists, and we're talking about anybody who's friends with a celebrity who might be embroiled in a scandal. Their publicist will come by, they'll give you a little nudge, and they'll say, hey, no questions about so-and-so. Us as correspondents, or at least, my job whenever I used to work red carpets, would be, there's always a way around it, right? So, for example, if a celebrity is going through a divorce, you don't say, hey, talk about your divorce for a minute. You say, hey, a lot of changes happening in your life.
All right, enough with that. At the end of the day, you got Hollywood running scared because Diddy might flip on them and start releasing tapes. Start making phone calls like, yo, get the dogs off of me. You better let me out. How are you going to spend the rest of your life for committing sexual acts? Everything just to make Diddy happy. This was like all a big operation just to make Diddy happy. And now he's going to jail because of all the victims on this. And the victims at the end of the day, it's a bunch of women that are just upset that years ago they went through this freak off and now they don't have that money or they don't have that access. But that's just my thought. Again, thank you for watching Jesse Water Primetime with me. He spoke a lot about what's going on with Trump, what's going on with Trump assassin, and what's going on with Diddy. All right, hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to give it a like so like that we could get a bigger and bigger audience. I'm always confusing my words. Why did I say more? So get more people to watch this video. But it is what it is. Hopefully you enjoy it. Have a good day. Happy Tuesday, September 24th. Peace. I don't know why I did that.
Verbal on life.
Look, so let me work a little backwards. Starting with the Diddy situation. To me, these were all grown adults going through this. And I don't think Diddy deserves life in prison because he made offers and paid people to do things and didn't pay people off like to get killed, or didn't pay people off to do things with minors. They haven't spoke about minors. There's no minors involved in this. We're talking about grown adults who should know better. That's it. You're a grown adult and you get offered money. It's up to you to say yes or no. Period. Whatever decision you make is on you. I made a bunch of bad decisions when I was younger. I got offered a job to get paid $10,000. And then I had a co-worker tell me, no, say no. And I ended up saying no. But then I was like, yo, that was stupid. I should have took that money. What the hell was I thinking? You see what I'm saying? But it was, at the end of the day, my decision. Poor decision. And I lost 10 grand. Like, man, I could have been paid. But it is what it is. Bad decision. You look over it. You lessons learned. And you move forward. So with Diddy, a lot of adults made bad decisions. Lesson learned. Let's move forward. Now everybody trying to get money grab. It's a little bit worse because he's trying to get this man in jail for the rest of his life. And you know what? In life, we are taught to punch up. Like the whole Robin Hood story, stealing from the rich, giving to the poor. A lot of people got that mindset that they want to take money from the people at the top or destroy the people at the top to feel better about themselves. Like I took down a guy, a billionaire, and that's part of society. We are trained through movies and conversations and TV shows that the people on top are the evil ones. Like they keep saying that about Trump, that Trump is a billionaire, therefore he's the evil one. Just because he lives in the lap of luxury. The man owns an airplane, a helicopter, private security. Like this man is untouchable. Was even the president of the United States already once, but we need him to be president again. Because amazing enough, the more and more we hear what he's trying to say, the man is America first. Unbelievable. So we sort of got to change our mindset on the billionaires. And I think that's what I'm saying. You know what? Diddy should not go to jail for the rest of his life. He paid a lot of money to a lot of people to get all his pleasures. Like the goal of the whole team is like, yo, the goal is to make Diddy bust a nut. And he paid a bunch of people for a month. Let's do this. Bought 1,000 bottles of baby oil. And that's crazy, All those adults, they should have walked away. And like, you can't even call the men victims because the men are men. Like, what the hell are you doing? If you're doing it because you wanted to, the females are the only victims for whatever reason. Because that's putting women down, if you think about it. Because women have a brain. They're smart. They could say no. They could walk away. They're smart enough. And if you say that they're not smart enough, then you're putting women down. Think about that. So I wouldn't call anybody victim. I would call people adults. Adults that went into this situation where P. Diddy and didn't make millions off of it at the time that it happened. Because this is things that happened way back in 2016. 10 years ago? Or 5 years ago? But you want to bring it today. And today, Diddy is in jail. Let's see what happens next. Next, with that assassin, it really looks like big government paid that man to do all of this to Trump. And the more and more they try to kill Trump, the bigger and bigger he gets. He's now going to go back to that rally where he got shot at, and he's going to do another rally. The man is fearless. He's going to go back there, but this time he's going to have the that glass, that bulletproof glass, so like that, he doesn't have to be nervous about getting shot again. And I'm sure Secret Service is going to go above and beyond the Call of Duty to make sure nobody with a gun is near there, or with a scope, or with anything. They're going to secure that area to the top because there's going to be cameras everywhere, and nobody better dare even look mean. So when Trump goes back in October, it's going to be amazing. And as a matter of fact, every move that Trump makes from now on, it shows he keeps getting better and better and getting more votes and more votes. Ultimately, once I see people in New York wearing a Trump hat, calmly and coolly, then I know this man is winning, especially if he wins New York. So if you're in New York, put on a Trump hat. Don't be scared. Get a little bit brave and do what you got to do. Now, what was the other topic they talked about there? Harris. People don't even know who's Harris. She's going to go to the border after she was the border czar for 3 years. And now finally she's going to do it. She's going to go to the border just to try to get votes. And let's see what she's going to say once she gets down there. I mean, what's she going to say? That she's going to close it up and she's going to build a wall? I doubt it. Plus, she's just making a bunch of promises just to win votes. Because once she wins, if she wins, she's going to say, yeah, I tried and it didn't happen. Just like Obama. Obama said, I tried, but it just didn't work out. Sorry. And that's what politicians do because they're only there for 4 years. And once they're in, that's it. You got the job. And all you're doing while in there is trying. So when you get out, all you can say is, I tried. Maybe next time. It just didn't work out. Vote for another Democrat. Let's keep trying. And you keep trying year after year. It's like, what the hell? Finally, Trump went in there and was like, yo, we are getting robbed by other countries. This is bad. That's bad. It just started switching things up. And this time around, If he goes in and drains the swamp, we're really going to see a change. I can't wait till this man becomes president. It's going to be amazing. And say it out loud, Trump 2024. With that said, remember to give it a thumbs up and see you on the next one. Peace.
Verbal or life.